Flyff Universe introduces an all-new way for players to enhance their playstyles through the introduction of skill bonuses on weapons and shields. Hey everyone, I'm Blukey, and today we'll be talking about the skill awakening system in Flyff Universe. Randomization in games provides opportunities to create surprise in the player experience. The unexpected moments of joy when a situation lines up perfectly allows peaks for excitement that players form some of their deepest memories around. Many gameplay elements can have some bit of randomness involved, whether it's in combat calculations that provide a range of potential damage to an enemy, the drop chances of a particular item from an enemy, or at times what stats an item that drops may have attached to it. The small variations in expected gameplay allow for some level of replayability and prevent games from becoming too predictable. While elements of randomness are used almost universally in games, the pendulum can sometimes swing too far into the realm of chaos. Extremely random gameplay elements can sometimes be fun to interact with, but if a player too often cannot predict the results of their actions, they may begin to feel wary of randomization. When building systems of power in games, it's paramount to have balance such that the randomized elements support two pillars of design. 1. Randomization should never create such power gaps where luck inherently eclipses any level of effort between two equal players. A lucky player may be granted an advantage, but the advantage must be balanced such that the unlucky players can reach parity in power through other means. 2. Players must have an achievable method of increasing the deterministic outcome of a random gameplay element. In a system using randomness, ideally there are considerations in creating paths for players to optimize and improve their chances of a particular outcome. Paths to reduce randomness gives freedom to players to make headway towards their goal. The line between acceptable random gameplay and predatory random gameplay is thin. Designers must be thoughtful in creating non-abusive systems for players that grant moments of happiness and power without going so far as to make randomness the only path to being successful. Awakenings are enchantments to equipment that grant positive or negative attributes. The awakening system was introduced in version 11 of Flyff PC, giving players another avenue to seek out power. To begin awakening their gear, players could utilize an NPC in town that sells scrolls of awakening for a small amount of pinya. Once used, the scroll bestowed 5 enchantments on the item. The possible enchantments are determined by the type of equipment being awakened. Some items like weapons and shields can have any of the enchantments, while other equipment like helmets or boots are limited in what bonuses they may receive. On average, an awakened piece of gear would likely be a side grade at best for the average player. The excitement from hitting the jackpot on an amazing set of awakenings once in a blue moon creates space for a player to maintain engaged in the awakening system. However, what if the system provided too much power or was too random? Unfortunately, the awakening system in Flyff PC harbors a collection of issues that fundamentally change the entire power curve of the game. While the randomness of enchanting player gear doesn't inherently cause balance problems for the game, the ceiling of power that even a single awakened piece of gear provides throws a wrench in how players feel about their gear. In Flyff PC, awakenings have a dangerously high power ceiling, where even basic gear from the earliest levels of the game can eclipse the base versions of the highest level gear. When systems create the ability to close power gaps of that magnitude, balance begins to go out the window. While there are massive gaps in potential power on equipment introduced by awakening, the randomization of the enchantments provides some measure of protection against the system getting out of hand. The chances of players receiving perfect awakenings on every piece of gear are nearly zero, which helps maintain a semblance of equilibrium. But what if the randomness of awakenings were stripped away and players were allowed to consistently achieve perfection? Premium items were introduced to pair with the awakening system, so players could replace enchantments to whatever they needed to hit their power ceiling. Scrolls of Reversion allow players to remove all enchantments on an item and start anew. Scrolls of Awakening Protection allow players to see what a new awakening would be, so they can choose if the old or new awakening should be kept. Both of these items provide quality of life improvements to the Awakening system, allowing players to fix or predict changes in their enchantments without pushing them to the power ceiling too quickly. Scrolls of Awakening Augmentation, or AUGs, are the final premium item for Awakening, and are the culprit for one of the most dangerous shifts in the power curve for players in Flyff PC. By forcing players to reroll all enchantments on gear when rerolling Awakenings, the game maintains the average level of power from Awakenings to a reasonable level. Scrolls of Awakening Augmentation allows players to replace a single enchantment from gear, throwing off the balance of the previous Awakening mechanics entirely. With the ability to pick and choose which enchantments to keep, players now have a method to consistently reach perfection on gear. Because Awakenings provide such a high power ceiling for players, once players have perfected enchantments, the balance of the game is forced to change forever. The issues caused by the Awakening system in turn caused Flyff PC to develop some of the mechanics that have destroyed interest in the game. In an effort to balance progression and kill time, high-level monsters in Flyff PC were given maximum block rate. Players were forced to slog through enemies slowly, making even the most powerful characters feel weaker than they did at early levels. New strategies were formed by the community to switch weapons to a wand and put all points into intelligence. The wand strategy was not unique to mage classes, but rather any class that wanted a fair chance to progress to the highest levels in Flyff PC. During a special event, a wand known as the Old Guardian's Wand became available and usable by all classes. Because wand attacks cannot be blocked by monsters, the Old Guardian's Wand provided an avenue to bypass the original protections intended to balance the late game. Not only did the power curve crumble under the ceiling of power players could achieve, but all semblance of uniqueness was removed as player builds across all classes became homogeneous. While Flyff PC has suffered for years after the introduction of the Awakening system, Flyff Universe aims to approach the system more thoughtfully. These new Awakenings are known as Skill Awakenings and can be found on weapons and shields. Skill Awakenings are an all-new approach to item bonuses in Flyff Universe. Skill Awakenings maintain a much lower power ceiling than the bonuses provided from the original Awakening system. With a lower power ceiling, the game designers leave room for future systems to be built in parallel that prevent the power scaling of characters to get out of control. Obtaining Skill Awakenings in Flyff Universe is integrated into the normal gameplay experience for players. Skill Awakenings naturally drop on weapons and shields, with the power of the bonuses varying based on the category and rarity of the item. Weapons bonuses focus on increasing the power of a character's skills, providing a percentage bonus to a given skill. For example, a vagrant may find a sword dropped with a 15% bonus to flurry damage. It's important to note that a skill bonus can only be applied to a weapon drop when the weapon is at or above the level the skill becomes available. For instance, the Burst Crack skill becomes available for assists at level 28. So Burst Crack percent damage bonuses cannot drop on any knuckle under level 28. As the rarity of an item increases, so does the ceiling for potential skill bonuses. All items eligible to drop a skill bonus can have up to a 15% bonus for a given skill or attribute. That means common and uncommon items can naturally drop up to a 15% bonus. Rare items with a green name can have a slightly higher bonus up to 19%. Unique items like Guardian and Historic weapons hold the highest potential bonus at 25%. Other bonuses exist for certain item types beyond just skill damage percent. Shields follow similar rules as weapons in terms of the amount of bonus available per rarity. However, without unique shields available, the highest bonuses drop on rare shields. All shields can drop with bonuses up to 10%, with additional bonuses available on rare shields up to 15%. Because shield bonuses are not tied to skills, but rather defenses and attributes, some bonuses also require a minimum level to drop. 11 and 12% bonuses begin to drop on level 20 and above rare shields, and the most sought after 13, 14, and 15% bonuses begin to drop on level 40 and above rare shields. With all of these rules in mind, what are the bonuses on shields? Unlike the skill bonuses on weapons, shields host numerous defensive bonuses including magic resistance, elemental resistance, block, critical resist, reflect damage, along with bleed and poison resist. Classes who use shields can look forward to additional ways to increase their defenses in places where it matters most. Assist sticks can also have interesting additional effects. Sticks can have additional Merkaba damage above level 60, but any level of stick can have additional healing percent attribute, giving support characters a valuable enchantment to healing up to a maximum of 25%. Higher bonuses are more rare and have a lower chance to drop on weapons compared to smaller bonuses. If a coveted item drops but doesn't have a bonus the player wants, there are other ways to seek out the ideal bonus. Using a scroll of bonus, players can reroll the bonus for a given item in attempts to find the bonus perfect for their character. Scrolls of bonus can be obtained from select quests during a player's journey or purchased in the cash shop. It is important to note that the power differential between no bonus and maximum bonus is powerful, but not so powerful as to get out of control like with the awakenings from Flyff PC. Allowing players opportunities to reroll skill bonuses has less impact in Flyff Universe in comparison. With the introduction of skill awakenings, Flyff Universe has added a reasonable new path to add power to characters. Skill bonuses have the potential to change a player's combat rotation by shifting the importance of a skill above or below others, or provide additional defensive utility, allowing players to stretch further against more difficult challenges. Skill awakenings open up the doors for more variety without breaking through the power ceilings designed to maintain the game's power scaling. Thank you to everyone watching this far. I enjoyed exploring the new skill awakening system in Flyff Universe, and can't wait to see how players use it to create character builds we may have never thought possible. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe so I know you're enjoying the content. Leave a comment below with other Flyff topics you want to hear about, and it might just become a future video.